Hey, what's going on? JD here, and this is the Daily JD. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell button so you get notifications when you do, in fact, go live. And of course, we tweet out before we go live every stream over on Twitter. You can check me out there. All the links are in the comments there at Pain Inc. on Twitch, Instagram, as well as Twitter. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, guys. Let me know that you're here. Drop some noise in the chat. And today is kind of a special episode. A little bit of an experiment, but it's going to be a good time. I think it's something that I've wanted to do on this stream for a very, very long time, and I've got a guest, and I'm not going to let you know who it is quite yet, and we'll get to that. But I'm excited because this is something that I have wanted for this stream in particular for a very, very long time. I think it's been a long time overdue. So we're just going to jump into thanking our Patreon supporters. Of course, that is none other than Reviewy McReviewface. You can check out his channel there, as well as we've got our YouTube sponsors, both Josh WRB and, of course, Mum's Universe, which brings me to switching up the screen here and revealing our very first guest. I'd like to welcome Woodrow from Mum's Universe to the stream. We've got some beautiful video and him in his office down in Texas, which is our first it's our first guest and first cross-border guest. And I just want to say thank you so much, Woodrow, for jumping on. I know he kind of contacted you at the last minute, but appreciate it so much. And like I was saying off camera before, I feel this is a long time overdue, us just kind of sitting down and chatting.
Agreed. This is pretty awesome, I gotta say. Hey, your first guest is an international guest. It just happens to be me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it's a great thing because we got a lot of history together, and you've been on a lot of platforms. You've done a lot of things. You've got yourself and Tiberius Jones, Mum's Universe. We first met on VidMe, and as I've mentioned to people before, that's kind of the nice thing about exploring sometimes smaller platforms is that you get to meet people that you probably would have never really kind of connected with unless it was underneath those circumstances.
Very true. Yeah, it's funny how VidMe brought so many wonderful creators together. The VidMe experience, for those who wasn't lucky enough to be part of it, was really interesting. They had a really interesting thing going over there, and I thought they were doing pretty well. I guess there was some maybe possible mismanagement with the money behind the scenes, and then after the fact, they went through kind of $10 million really quickly. Then they shut down out of the blue on all of us, and we were all doing fairly well over there. We began to know each other. We were starting to grow our channels. I know I had grew over there much faster than I ever had on YouTube or any other platform. It was really wonderful. Of course, I got to meet JD, the Brew Monks, and all these other wonderful people that to this day we keep in contact with. And so when it shut down, it kind of caught all of us off guard. And then I found out, actually with the Brew Monks, just talking to them, they were like, yeah, and then did me received $4 million right after the fact, and it looks like they were actually bought out by Google.
Ah, interesting. You see, I didn't know that, and that's, I think, kind of one of the things we talk about all the time on the show here. And good to see you, Josh. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that, man. Is that, we talk about a lot of times that these platforms aren't really per se your friends. They're just a means of you getting your voice out there, and you don't control the play field. I mean, VidMe shut down and left a lot of people scrambling because they put all their eggs in that one basket because they were seeing things and growth that they hadn't seen on any other platform. And I can say personally as well that some of the team from VidMe who I was in communication with did a really good job of sort of communicating and help promote us, which we had never seen on any other platform before. Before they shut down. It was a good experience though. I did enjoy the platform. It was good, and like you said, got to meet yourself, the Brew Monks, who are now two frosty beards or frothy beards.
Yes.
They've rebranded themselves a little bit, and those guys live primarily over on Twitch. But there's a few people, like I see Ramen still drops into your gaming streams every once in a while, who is part of the VidMe community, and there's a fair few others that are kicking around as well.
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. It's been pretty cool. It's been that was the it was definitely disappointing how they kind of pulled the rug out of from underneath us. They gave us no heads up when they kind of pulled out or whatever. But the blessing that came from that is, as you said, a lot of the creators, they kept in contact with each other. It did introduce us and myself to a lot of creators that I wouldn't have got to see before for various reasons. And so overall, I'm definitely, disappointed to have been in it, but I'm happy with the experience. And I definitely learned, because I did that when we started blowing up on VidMe, me and my brother. I was like, oh, screw YouTube, I'm out, and we stopped uploading videos, and we did that for the entire time, and we definitely paid for it. So definitely learned some valuable lessons, and excited to be here, excited to be part of the Daily JD. This is amazing.
Cool, cool. So, I mean, just so everybody that's watching knows, this is like completely impromptu. So I have, nothing really set out other than sort of sitting down and talking and just having a chat. But I mean, that's ultimately what I like to do, anyways. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, Woodrow. What
Sure.
is it about social media that attracted you to do Mum's Universe? Like, why did you start up Mum's Universe in the very very beginning?
For those who've watched Mom's Universe in the past, present, or in the future, you'll see that me and my brother are pretty goofy, and we definitely we feed off of each other. And we would basically sit around and we would watch some of the worst movies on purpose and just enjoy them, And we would find humor in some very terrible media. We also did the same thing before there was a such thing as memes and all of the stuff that's really popular now. We would find random pictures on the internet and just basically rip them apart, try to find the history of them, and etc. And so we were like, we were really entertaining to our family and friends. They thought it was pretty funny. So one day I was like, hey, we gotta, start uploading some of these videos and stuff that we do, because we actually started recording ourselves with our phones and just random cameras that we had happen to have around or whatever, and we just show them to ourselves and friends. And so that's kind of how Mom's Universe took off. Mom's Universe is actually an acronym. Mom's doesn't stand for a mother's at all. And we said once we hit 1,000 subscribers, which seems so far away, but we can close to 500. We'll let everybody know what Mom stands for. But it's also a part of a comic strip that we created as well. So you'll see like random characters pop up, or you'll see the skins and stuff. That's all out of our comic book, which also feeds into our movie reviews, our unboxing, all the random stuff that we were basically doing with family and friends, just entertaining the people around us. And yeah, we just kind of bought that to the world, hopefully. And I hope y'all like it. We get entertained out of it, and hopefully y'all do too.
Nice, nice. It's interesting, the secretive part of the Mum's Universe, and that you're gonna reveal that at 1,000 subscribers. Josh WRB. The WRB actually does stand for something, and I actually know what it is because I listen,
Interesting.
but a lot of people don't. And it's a question that I think is a little bit of a hook sometimes when you have that little ounce of mystery, going on, and people want to kind of stick around. They're like, I need to know, I need to watch. Like, when's this gonna drop? It's a really, to me, it's a really good hook. It's a really good marketing thing. It's good branding overall to have something that's a little bit, and then allowing your community to sort of play on that. I know with Josh, people try to guess what it is all the time. He never lets on what it is, and people just keep on guessing, and they make up their own stuff as well. Do you find that a bit?
Yes, yes, people do definitely. Well, first, with it being Mom's universe, and of course, in the majority of everywhere in the world except for me and Tiberius, Mom's actually means mums, like your mother. Or and in some places, it actually has it's kind of a dirty word. So a lot of times when I'm in different chats or I'm on Twitch or whatever, and they actually haven't clicked on it to go see what Mom's universe is about, they usually think I'm a girl or a woman, and so I've been flirted with it. I've had direct messages sent to me, and they're like, "Hey, mom, what's up with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a dude." They're like, "What?" So it confuses a lot of people, and so that has pissed people off. It also has gotten people over to the channel. People do try to attempt to guess, after they say, "Okay, we kind of see a guy's humor. We're going to see if we can figure out what mums stands for." So far, no one has got it, but I will give a hint here on the Daily JD, if that's okay.
That's perfectly all right with me.
Awesome, awesome. So if you look at our different skins or whatever, you'll see our characters and stuff. And if you just take a look at the characters and kind of what's going on, part of the acronym has to do with one of those characters. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to say too much more because that might actually be too much to say.
Right.
But yeah, so if somebody gets mums, we're going to do a giveaway at 1,000, whatever. But the big thing for me is just to let people know what mums stand for and see how many people stay on the channel and see how many people we get on the channel from it. You gotta remember, we first made this up. This is just a joke between me, my brother, and the family and friends, basically. So I never thought that anybody else in the world would actually know what it stands for. So should be pretty interesting. Hey there, Craftsman.
Hey, good to see you, Crosswith. And that's amazing. I just saw that pop up at the same time. Like I said, this is a little bit of an experiment with the live streaming. It's amazing that that you can read the comments, I can read the comments, and it's all almost like the exact same time. That's phenomenal. You gotta love technology. Hey, Rob, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. You leave it, and now it's a two-person show. Mums is our first guest, so this being a little bit different, it's always ask me anything that you want. I want you guys to drop your questions for Mum's Universe in the chat. I want you. You've seen him in the chat. You've interacted with him. I know a few of you guys have gone over and watched his stream. Currently, he is streaming Shadows of Mordor, which is an amazing fucking game, I might add.
Yeah,
And
it
it
is.
is, it's funny because I find that I watch your stream and it's just like I need to play these games, or I need to get back into these games. It's like you played Spider-Man. I got it finally for the PS4, and I'm raring to play it at some point. And in all honesty, that's attributed to your stream because it was a good time, a fun time watching it. And I guess my next question for you is, I know you stream on YouTube. I know you stream on Twitch. What is your favorite platform and why? Where do you like to call home? And I know you're like me. You're across multiple platforms. As everybody knows, YouTube's kind of my nest a little bit, but I always branch out. What do you consider your nest?
That's a really good question. Originally, we started out on YouTube and Facebook. Facebook, we got like 4,500 followers on, which of course is the platform that a lot of people are kind of shying away from now. So it kind of is what it is. But I would actually, we're determined to make it on YouTube. I really feel like we just keep grinding away at it. We picked up a lot of subscribers within the last 2 or 3 months. We were averaging about a subscriber a day for a while. But what I would call home, who showed us the most growth and interaction, which I freaking love interaction in the chat and everything else, has been Twitch. Twitch has been really good to us. And we'll probably never get to the next step with Twitch because you gotta get average 75 people or whatever, over a certain amount of time, and so that may or may not ever happen. But I really do enjoy it. I like what they're doing on there, and I'm actually curious about Mixer. I've been hearing some decent things about Mixer, but Twitch I would consider a home as of right now.
Yeah. What when you're playing your games, what are you playing on? Are you playing on PC? You playing on PS4? You playing on Xbox?
Our the three we pretty much let's see here. Sounds like Mom is getting picked up by a different mic. So are you getting an echo? Let me know if it's I'm talking through this mic, but it shouldn't be picking up through any other mics. But um, Oh, pretty much. Sorry, PS4, PS3, and PC. My PC is weak as heck. It's an editing PC. I do all my graphics on there, but it's an older PC, so it kind of strains when I play any game of power because there's so many games on PC I would love to play. But and I got a bunch of PS3 games, so you'll see those popping up from time to time. So PS3 and PS4 are probably the main two, and I'm looking forward to getting a PS5. I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna make that happen.
So with Mixer, the Mixer mix, I would say that Mixer, if you are on Microsoft, is kind of that's where Mixer comes into play because Mixer is built hard baked into Microsoft software. So when you get a computer now, you can broadcast directly to the Mixer. Same with an Xbox. You don't even need a streaming card. You don't need anything. It's baked into the console. And the interesting part with Mixer is too, and I don't know how they do it, and I feel that they're a little bit superior to Twitch and a little bit superior to YouTube in a lot of ways because there's like zero latency. So it's interesting that they're able to do that, and Twitch and YouTube haven't quite figured that out quite yet.
Okay, okay. My doggy is determined, Bailey the hater, to get in on action, so that's why I'm moving the mic, trying to get him up here. Come on.
I'm also glad to see that Bailey's involved as much as Bear tends to get involved when you're trying to do something live. That right in there never fails, and I love that too. That if you haven't checked out Mum's stream as well, he's got a Bailey cam a lot of the time too. You can watch Bailey hanging out, which I think is cool, bringing the pets into the mix. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Rob says, "Mums, how do you find Twitch and YouTube? Where are you finding your successes mostly?"
Um, well, it's interesting. So YouTube, we the success, our big growth on YouTube came when I started streaming Star Wars. That actually told me that certain. I've seen, I watch a lot of other gamers or whatever, so I see people who just kind of game like one thing or maybe one or two things, whatever, like only Fortnite, only Star Wars, etc. And but so I just happened to get into Star Wars gaming because I like Star Wars books, I like Star Wars media and content overall, and so I started following a bunch of gamers and was watching them. Just so happened on my Iron Brew video, and thank you, JD and Lloyd, for that. One of the people on there was like, "Hey, you seem pretty cool. You should come and check out our little community, whatever." And they had like basically just a bunch of Star Wars streamers, and so started hanging out with them online. Started streaming Star Wars. Next thing I know, a bunch of them they just started coming over and hanging out, and all of a sudden my subs jumped up immediately. And so I was like, a lot of times, most of the games I play them because I find them fun. I don't play them because they happen to be what's in style. But I've actually been thinking about lately, I've been kind of reflecting on that. Like, maybe I do need to, if I really want to grow this channel, and it doesn't mean I have to stray away from the games I love and doing the other things that we like to do. But, I may want to tap into some of those games that are stupidly popular. If I want to bring people over, then I can introduce some other content. So that's what worked on YouTube. As far as Twitch goes, I noticed just being active on Twitch. I'm active on YouTube and Twitch anyway, as far as just, being in chats and all that kind of stuff. But I seem to find on Twitch, those people will actually check me out and actually end up subbing to me. And on YouTube, I don't see that as much just because I'm in there chatting around in the chat room, just hanging out or whatever. I don't get people coming over. So YouTube seems to be, hey, if I play some of the video games that are popular, they will come over. Next thing I know, I'm growing because of that, and they're starting to look at some of my other entertainment. And Twitch seems to be more if I'm in the chat room, messing around other people's chats or whatever, randomly those people start clicking on my stuff and coming over. So that's kind of how I'm seeing the difference in growth and what so far on the two platforms.
Nice, nice. I think that's some really great insight actually. Because you do both platforms, so it's always interesting to kind of see where things sort of play. I know I said I think on Tuesday's stream that I experimented with streaming the Daily JD on Twitch, and it just wasn't wasn't the right audience for it. Twitch as a whole. I know they have their IRL, but it just wasn't, Talking Head just doesn't kind of cut it over on Twitch as well as
That's
it
true.
does on YouTube. And for some reason, I have lost my my video, but you're still there, so we're just gonna make you
Yes.
super big.
Hey JD, actually, it looks like I think I can see you. Well, like I said, there's a little bit of delay as far as the video goes, but you seem to be fine. You went out for a second and you came back. So I think you're good, but hey, I'll take the whole screen if you think they won't shy people away. They're like, who's that guy? I got to go. And Rob, you said the mic, it doesn't sound full, even though it's right in front of me. It could be since JD is using OBS, which I use OBS as well. Depending on what the mixer setting is for the mic that I have it on, that he has me on or whatever. Depending on that, could be it. So it doesn't matter how loud I talk or what my volume is. It depends on what's going on over
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I have
But
to run you through it. It's an NDI source, so I mean, like I said, this is a bit of an experiment. What's happening is Woodrow is coming in via Skype, and then essentially I'm pumping him through to OBS, and then OBS is pumping it out. As far as I can tell, it's the audio that I have coming in with Skype is the same, but it might be audio. The audio getting compressed by Skype or something along those lines. So
check.
it's something along those lines. Yeah. For some reason my camera disconnected. It just had to unplug it and plug it in, and it found it again. So I should be back up if you're missing my ugly mug. There you go. Um, Rob asks, what is the best tip outside of consistency would you give someone trying to get more consistent viewership?
Outside of consistency, which I think is probably one of the most important things, which is one of the reasons that my channel, me and my brother's channel, doesn't grow because we are not consistent with our uploads. We don't have a schedule. We just pop up out of the blue, and that's definitely not helpful. um, but other than consistency, I would say, and I've been over to your channel, and I've been to everybody in here. If they've been in this chat at any moment in time, especially if they've been in there more than once or twice, whatever, I have went over to their channel, and I'm sub to you there, Rob. And so I know quality content is not the problem because your content is good. Um, Outside of consistency, I say just maybe trying to. That's a. Hey JD, am gonna think about this for a second. What's your answer to that? And I'm gonna try to come back with an answer after I think about it because I do think consistency
Aside
is the
from
most important.
consistency, I think it's a I don't think there's one specific thing. I think consistency is maybe one of the biggest key features. And when I say consistent, I don't mean that you stream every day or every other day or 3 days a week. It's like I'm going to stream on Fridays and you're consistent in doing it maybe once a week or once every
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, just that people know where to find you at
Mm-hmm.
that point. I think, with Twitch, with YouTube, notifications are the biggest thing that doesn't work for either of them. I have Twitch
Mm-hmm.
notifications turned on, and I never get anybody's thing. Um, so I guess, in a sense, my answer to that is the biggest thing that you can help to get your consistent numbers is make sure that you are branching out with your other social media, that people know that you will do things like tweet or post on Facebook or post wherever that you are in fact going live, and do those things habitually.
Mm-hmm.
I have it automated, so when I launch this, it automatically tweets it out, which saves me a lot of time. I should really figure out how to do it where it posts to Facebook and a couple other social media platforms to do that. So I think it's just getting the word out and sort of overriding the broken notification systems is the one thing that you can do, is encourage people to follow you kind of everywhere. Um,
That's a very good point. I 100% agree with that. And hell, I should have thought about that. Hell, I do marketing for a living, so I don't know why it didn't come across my mind. But you're right. Just letting, basically, keeping yourself out there that people know that you exist because it's such a go, bang flash world when it comes to now I see you, now I don't, in this 24-hour consumption of media that we all do. So, people will forget about you in a heartbeat. And I'm sure we've all done it. We watch something on TV or we watch some creator, we're really enjoying them, and then we just kind of fall off into something else. So if you can't, like you said, be consistent on your scheduling. I do agree, like, hey, every Friday I'm going to stream and then stick to that. And if you're not going to stick to that, let people know. But at the same time, make sure you say, hey, follow me on Twitch and YouTube and yada yada. Make it easy for them. Drop the links in there. Make sure they can click on whatever button that happens to be on that platform so they can go right there. And then be consistent on but letting people know. And I know for me, I do make up for the lack of basically I just kind of pop up and stream whenever is trying to be active in everybody's channel. You know, it's a hard thing to do, and I have some people that it's easier for me because of their schedule and my schedule. But I do think just kind of as Josh just pointed out, you know, kind of making yourself part of a community, clicking on it, helping out other people, just kind of being there so people can see it, even if it's just helping out as far as you're in their chat. You're helping out the conversation. You're not dominating it. I know sometimes I get carried away with my typing, but you just let people kind of know that you exist, and then somewhere along the line, somebody might click on you, and there you go. And they come over there, and then hopefully you got a viewer at that point.
Yeah. I think the community thing and being involved in the community is probably one of the biggest keys that is largely overlooked, especially in spaces like YouTube, because I find that YouTubers tend to be a little more, and some people are going to hate me for saying this, egocentric. That you are so used to
Yeah.
in YouTube, when I produce a vlog, it's usually a dialogue with the camera. It's dialogue strictly going out, and there's not really an opportunity to communicate. And that's why I love live streaming so much. Is that the fact that everybody can dump their opinions in the chat. They can say if I'm way off base. They can agree. They can disagree, and it's a conversation, and it's very organic. And I think a lot of YouTubers fail to recognize that they need to develop community, and that's where I think Twitchers have a huge advantage, because there is that it's baked into their system. I always go to Twitch meetups, even though I don't Twitch stream a ton, and I always have like the best time there, because the people they understand that they are built by their audiences, and they need to engage and talk. And I find them, even though a lot of Twitchers are introverts as well, that they are a lot more extroverted within their community, because they're all doing the same thing, which I think is absolutely amazing. It's good. And sort of going on to what Rob was asking as well, I think anytime that you're building something with streaming, and some people like yourself and Josh in here have very well put together, streams. They've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of development, a lot of overlays. I think that building those kind of things slowly, and always figuring something that you can improve on or make a little bit different, or change a transition, are always good things to kind of grow, because the more you have, the more dynamic your stream becomes. Like anybody watching the stream right now, it's basically two boxes, me and Woodrow. So I mean, my next goal would be to make sure that when I have a guest, there's actually like your logo and your name and your channel, and our guest or whatever. Figure out something to do with that, just so it's not too big, black letterbox things. Because my next question for you is, did your layout, how long did it take you to get to that point? Is that something that you just landed on right away, or is it something that developed over time?
It kind of developed over time. So when we were on VidMe and YouTube, for that matter, we weren't doing any type of live streaming. It was just the videos, and we would upload them. I do all the graphics and do all the editing for all the videos or whatever. So that was easy to do. But then I had to actually learn how to Twitch, because I had no idea how to live stream. So I actually reached out when VidMe went down, and I ended up following the Brew Monks over, because the Brew Monks basically direct messaged me like, "Hey man, I found the closest thing to community that we had over, at VidMe, but it's here on Twitch." I'm like, okay, wonderful. So I go over there and I watched them for a couple of weeks with them. I'm like, wow, they've really created community over here really fast. This is pretty doggone awesome. I'm loving their overlays or whatever. And so I started talking to TJ, and I'm like, hey man, I want us to create an overlay as well. I've got some skills, but I'm not on the level of which you see up on our screen or whatever. And so first we came up with the concept. Again, everything is based off our comics or whatever. So that arcade cabinet and that whole skin that you see, that's actually based off of a place called Peter's Pickles and Pancakes. It's a restaurant that our comic little characters go to and hang out, and there's a arcade that's connected to it, basically adjacent to it. It's part of the restaurant. And so we talked about like, okay, we already knew how the arcade looked, because again we talked about this many times in our little comic strip or whatever. And so I'm like, I want to turn this into a skin. So we like, okay, how can we do that? So we talked about it, and so after that I went to the Brew Monks. I'm like, hey man, your overlay is freaking amazing. I'm like, how did you go about doing that? Talk to me. And he ended up turning me on to the artist that they came up with the concept, but then they basically took that concept, gave it up to artists, and the artists made it all happen. And the Brew Monks actually does all their animation. So when they had the Brew Monks, they had like there was like in their beer cellar and they had the little flames and all that kind of cool stuff with their whole monk garb. They did that. So I was like, okay. So I told them the concept. They said, cool. We sent the stuff over to the artist. The artist drew it all out. She already knew how to do it in dimensions because she hadn't done Twitch stuff before. So it worked perfectly. The Brew Monks did the animation. So you see the marquee with says Monks Universe and the arcade cabinet flashes, the little buttons flash and all that stuff. And everything else, that was the Brew Monks. So we took that all together, marinated it, and boom, it's good stuff. And same thing for our other skin when we do movie reviews that's basically in the movie theater. So the little speakers, they have the speaker boxes, and I hit a button and the speaker box is removed, and you see our faces there. That's all part of that. So it's a slow burn as far as we came up with the concept. We talked over to people who had good stuff. So we reached out just like if I didn't know them, I would have reached out to Josh because his stuff's amazing. I'm like, man, how do you do this? And kind of go from there. So that's that kind of that community. It worked out. So when I see like Craftsmith in here, Josh, and everybody else or whatever, I think that's pretty cool because then when you see them doing something cool, you're like, hey, how did you do that, or what did you do, or where did you go to get this, and then you get that good feedback. So that's it.
Yeah, I think that having other creators that and work with is it's invaluable because everybody has different experience, and there are so many different lines of knowledge going on that there's always something to learn. Like I mean, I would see you with when I was trying to figure out how to even just do this. In all honesty, it was your stream that inspired that because I'm like, shit, man, I know Tiberius is not there, like, so I know it can be done. Like, how can I do this? And just kind of figuring it out because it's not all easy, and if anybody can help sort of shortcut you through their experience, that's always a valuable thing. So
Agreed.
again, if you have any questions, by all means for Woodrow, throw them in the chat. Let us know what you guys want to discuss. My next question is I see you got pops on your shelf. And
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen that I collect the most crap in the world, and I love pop. It's like something I didn't want to ever buy, but I just like buy them all the time now. So what do you got?
It's so funny that you mentioned something you didn't want to buy, but then you end up buying them and now you love them. Yeah, same thing. When I first saw them, I'm like, I don't want these things. I don't bobbleheads or whatever, basically what they are. But yeah, I got my first pop and then it was on from there. So the pops that I have here, we'll start off. We'll go left to right and we'll go through these fairly quickly. So this is my Flash Gordon pop.
Oh my God, Flash! They make a Flash Gordon pop. That's like the best sinful movie
Oh
of
my
all
God.
time. It is such trash, that movie, but it is so amazing. Number one because Queen did the soundtrack for that film, and it's probably one of the best movie soundtracks that you will ever hear if you ever buy the Flash Gordon album. But if you grew up when I grew up with the black and white Flash Gordons and watched them to death.
Nice.
And I was so excited for that movie. And even though it was complete and utter trash, I still love it. It's I'm with Ted on this one. Flash Gordon's amazing.
Flash Gordon is amazing. I was born in the '70s. I grew up, '70s, '80s, and '90s as far as being single digits and teenagers and all that stuff. And so I loved me some Flash Gordon. Me and my friends would go out and play Flash Gordon literally, and I would be the Birdman because they were my favorite, the Bird guys, the Bird Warriors. And yeah, we had some good times with that. So love me some Flash Gordon. And a buddy of mine, I'm trying to get him to part with it. He's got these. So I've got these in the background here, these posters. And a buddy of mine, he buys these and collects these, and these are pretty impressive. These are actually birthday presents from him, and he has these two posters, and I'm trying to buy from him because he has so many of them. He's trying to get rid of them. And there's these Flash Gordon posters. There's two of them, but you put them next to each other. They're freaking amazing. If I get that, I will show
Wow.
them off for days on end. So definitely love some Flash Gordon, and they've got some on the back of this, so I'm showing out. They actually got some other Flash Gordon. They got Ming the Merciless. They got the General, and then they got Prince Voltan. So all pretty cool. So the next one I got up here is Eric Killmonger from Black Panther.
Oh, nice.
Really enjoy Black Panther. Thank you, thank you. And so I got these two, and I actually want to get all of them. They've got basically the entire main cast, so I want to get the entire main cast. But I only have two of them right now: Eric Killmonger and Black Panther himself. Which these are just really awesome. They're really cool. Some of my favorites here. And moving, I love Marvel, I love DC, I love comics. So I was really happy when they actually. But I've always liked Black Panther, and I like a couple other ones as well. But there were characters that I never thought would actually be on the big screen, so I was really just psyched and really happy. And they really did really well as far as expanding the mythos of Black Panther, because a lot of these characters are cool for what they are, or whatever, but they're really not that deep. They may have some cool storylines here and there, but I thought they did a really good job with the whole Black Panther series. So my other pop here is one of my favorites because I love this character right here. That is the Punisher.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you, thank you. So this is the Punisher from the actual Daredevil show. I'm actually a bigger fan of the original Punisher, but this is the one I found
Wait,
at the time.
so I have to ask you, when you say original Punisher, are you referring to
Yes.
Dolph Lundgren?
That's one of me and TJ's favorite movies.
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't even know that that movie exists,
Oh my
and
god.
you know, I think it's being a child of the 70s and 80s, like I'm in the same boat as you. The fact that they started putting out things like that when that first came out, it's like, oh my god, they're making a superhero movie about the Punisher. Like, that's badass because, your superhero stuff was typically Adam West as Batman. It was pretty
Correct.
PG, right? So that's a pretty dark Punisher. So I'm
Agreed.
impressed that that's your favorite.
Yes, yes. Matter of fact, we had we got all of these again because of TJ being in it. It's a little bit easier now because now that I'm in Texas and he's basically bouncing between Oklahoma and the state of Georgia, that we're more or less on the same time zone. Or when he's in Georgia, it's only a 1 hour difference. When I was on the West Coast, when I was in San Diego for all these years, it made it almost impossible for us to do a lot of the stuff we wanted to do. That's actually one of the movies we want to review because we talk about that movie all the time. Same thing, we quote Steven Seagal all the time because Steven Seagal is one of the most horrible, terrible, best actors known to man. He's God's gift to everything, and we just stay fascinated by him. He's just like every time he talks, we're just like, oh, Steven, because he is so Steven. So, yeah, so. It's really cool. It's really random that you're a fan of Dolph's Punisher because it is a classic. It is good. But let me get off that real quick, and I got one more pop for you. If that's okay.
Yeah. Oh
One
yeah.
more.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And this is one of my again. I don't know. You would call me an old soul or whatever the case may be, but I love me some doggone Jimmy
Oh yes, that is
So
awesome.
thank you, thank you. This pop I've had for this was that and the Flash Gordon was actually my two first pops, and so I've been to Jimi Hendrix's home. I've been to his gray site. Really a big fan of him. I got a bunch of his music around here. I got some albums. I got all kind of stuff. And so one day maybe I'm kind of as you look around, I got stuff everywhere, whatever. So I need to clean this place up, whatever. Maybe I do like a studio tour. I don't know how cool it'll be. Probably like 2 minutes. But love me some Jimi Hendrix. So that's my pop collection.
That's amazing. Like I said, I hate the things, but I love the things. Why? Because it doesn't matter what you like. They've
Mm-hmm.
got one of those fucking things for them. That's
Yeah.
just the truth. Like my first one was Jay and Silent Bob, and after that it
Nice.
was the Cereal Monsters, and then it was all over. It's just done after that point. So
Dude, your blueberry, I wanted that thing so freaking bad, and you're right, they got it for everything, and I actually have to stop. No, I could have a whole wall of pops because there's so many out there I want, and I've kind of had to stop myself so I wouldn't continue down that road. But there's so many. But that blueberry was freaking
yeah.
amazing, and oh man, yeah, yeah, pops.
Josh asks, Mums, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh wow. Damn, and my mind is being flooded with movies currently. As I'm thinking, you're like, okay, what movie can I watch over and over, no matter what, and never get tired of? Any movie I say, I'm gonna immediately regret and want to say something else. But
That's okay. We could
uh,
talk about all of them.
okay, I'll name off a couple of movies that I can watch over and over again. Gladiator, love that movie, freaking amazing. That was actually one. That was the first purchase, I think, on my PS3 that I bought as far as actualized it. It's like, oh, you can download movies now. I'm like, cool. So I downloaded that in an episode of iCarly. So yeah, and oh god, The Fly, black and white version Fly, and the first, I guess, remake Fly from like 1981 or 82, whatever it is. I can watch that over and over. Um, Return of the Living Dead. Um,
Oh, nice,
oh god,
nice.
almost. And it's funny that you're such a big fan of. Well, I love me some Jay and Silent Bob. I love Clerks. I love Mallrats. I have all of those. I can watch those over and over again. So that's those three from his works I can watch constantly. Um, yeah, I don't. It'd be hard for me. I know I'm kind of copping out, as far as like, oh, but it is very hard for me to think of one movie that is like my very, very favorite best. But anyway, yeah, those movies, and I'm sure there's many, many more. If I just look around here, I got like thousands of movies. Oh, A Knight's Tale is a great movie. Okay, I got an answer for you. I got an answer. I got an answer. I'm gonna show it. They
Oh,
live.
nice, nice.
Love
Obey.
this. Obey. Exactly. Yes. Yes. So that's it. That's it. Because I got chills and goosebumps thinking about this movie. So that's it. Because I want to chew some bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. I know I didn't quote it right, but yeah, I love this movie. So there we go. I'm going to settle on that. They live. That's it. Boom.
That's a great flick. That's a great flick. Josh says he loves the list, which is awesome. Again,
Thank
guys,
you.
appreciate everybody tuning in for this. I'll be checking out the audio afterwards and doing some fine tuning and see what we can do on that department. Again, if you have any questions for mums, by all mean, drop them in the chat. And as well, just as a reminder, this is something that we want to do on a more regular basis. So if you're interested in dropping in and essentially co-hosting the daily, by all means, shoot me a note on Twitter because I would love to have you all at some point. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And again, thanks Woodrow for at very short notice because like that's how I operate. It's kind of like I think the problem with a stream sometimes is like the time. I think everybody's like because my work day is different than everybody else's. That it's like right in the end of everybody's work day, so it's difficult. So I'm always like kind of last minute, like, can you make it? Because I know things do come up from time to time for everybody. So
Yeah, I was sitting there watching. I had been in the house maybe 10 minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and I was on Twitch and I was watching. I saw the Broom Monks were on. The two frosty. Thank God, I keep calling them Broom Monks. And so I saw the Broom Monks were on. I'm like, cool. I haven't got to really sit in and watch any of their stuff in a while or whatever. Because again, me random schedule,
yeah.
whatever. And so I was in there chatting away or whatever, and then I happened to notice I had a message on Twitter, and I went over and I'm like, oh heck yeah, and I'm like, well, cool, let's do it. So this was very awesome, very nice surprise, made my day. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of long overdue because we chat a lot where it's one of us streaming and the other one's typing, but we've never really kind of sat down and have a conversation. And I'm deeply grateful that you're taking the time out to sit down and talk because, like I said, I mean everybody's experience is different, and there is a ton of value in everything that everybody experiences in life, and the ability to share that is, you know, it's awesome, and deeply appreciate that. So,
Agreed. Agreed.
do we have any other questions for Woodrow at all? Um,
What game do you keep going back off stream? What game do you keep going back off stream? See, me, what game do I keep playing off stream that I might not necessarily play on stream, but I say, man, they may not want to see it, but I want to play it? If that's your question there, infamous Mr. Fox. I do like the Spider-Man game, so I will play that offline. I know people are tired of me playing that. Was tired of me playing that game because I was on that kick for a couple weeks streaming, and I was just deleting the videos. So I would definitely go back and continue to play that. Some of the games I played I actually want to replay over, such as Detroit Become Human. I wasn't happy with the ending of that. So Spider-Man, I will actually go back to again because I found out I thought I was playing on the hardest setting, but come to find out, when I beat it on the hardest setting, it gave you one more setting that's just that much harder. So I got to go back and play it. Game that I've been trying to, two games that I've been trying to get to work. One will work. I just haven't streamed it yet. That's NCAA football. NCAA 14, which is a college football game from 2014. The reason 2014, that was the last of that run of that series. And it was an amazing series. It just ended basically because the players, the and NCAA players, the college players weren't getting paid, but they were getting their likenesses used by the colleges and stuff. And so that ended. But there's a law that just actually passed in California and in several other states that's going to allow players, college players, not pro athlete, college players, to actually gain monetary value from their likeness, which I think they should get because you imagine how much the universities and the colleges are making, how much the NCAA is making. So it's finally going to get them an opportunity to get a piece of that pie. There was a gymnast that got a perfect 10 earlier this year, and she got like over 41 million views on it, and she's not able to monetize that. And she's a senior, and she's graduating, and she's like, that would be nice if I could have somehow put that forward to help kind of progress me into my career or whatever. And so, but NCAA 14 is a game that I play that I will stream that hopefully people like, even if they don't like football. But like something I've been trying to get is the Command and Conquer series. I love Command and Conquer, old school Command and Conquer, and I play that constantly all the time on my computer, my PC, and I have just not. It was never made to stream. Those old games. This is before streaming was even a thing, and so it just does not want to cooperate with OBS or any other software that I've used so far. So those are some great games.
Interesting, interesting. The college thing is really particularly interesting as well because I had heard about this law being passed in California, and I think you bring up an interesting kind of. I think there's a dichotomy there for college kids, especially doing college sports and then getting paid. At that point, does that make college really? At that point of your professional athlete, like should you have contracts and agents and all these kind of things, or should it be like you said, you've got the gymnast that scores a perfect 10, goes viral, makes the university a ton of money?
Mm-hmm.
Should it be the university you know taking some of that money and taking a percentage and putting it into that kid's education, like should but cutting it off at the top, because at that point then again you're a paid professional athlete, and then it makes you wonder, some people will go to school, but some people just honestly go there for the sports, never really do school technically, and they're just
Mm-hmm.
kind of filtering to go to pros. So I'm curious what your thoughts on that is.
It's actually pretty interesting you brought that up. So LeBron James, the gymnast, that of course I can't remember her name right now, and a couple other athletes have they basically have talked about, like LeBron James, for people who don't know, never played a day of college basketball. He said he would have went to Kentucky, but he said he had to take care of his family, so he went straight pro. And so in a lot of NFL players, when you talk to them, me, I've bounced around enough, and I stalked my Chicago Bears enough that I've actually met some players, and I've gotten to know some players over time, and they'll tell you, privately that some of them just basically, yeah, they went to college, but it was a means to an end to get to the pros or whatever. And even myself, I had college scholarships for track. I ended up joining the Marine Corps instead because, hey, but I would have ran sports just to get my education. And so the way they have done these laws, or the one in California, and a lot of these laws are being crafted off of the one in California, is that the universities don't pay the players anything. They basically just give the players or they allow the players to be able to use their likeness to get a monetary gain. So, example, using the gymnast for example, she doesn't get paid from the university at all. But she's able to, maybe like you said, do a T-shirt deal or something. And of course, there's some stipulations. They can't be wearing like all this sponsor stuff in their gear. While they're playing football, they can't have like Pepsi,
Yeah.
a headband on or something like that. But off channel, they can do it. Like they can have YouTube channels and make money. There was a kicker, a kicker who became. He was never going to go pro or whatever, but he actually had an ultimatum from the college because he blew up and he was getting hundreds of thousands of subscribers to his YouTube channel, and he was just kicking the football, doing stuff. He even stopped doing it on campus or whatever, and just talking about life as a football player. He had regular vlogs, had nothing to do with it, and the college was like, no, you're making money because you are a kicker. That's how people discovered you. And so that makes you now you're not a collegiate, you're a professional or whatever. And so they gave him the choice. You either NCAA gave him a choice. You can either continue on with your YouTube channel, YouTube now, or you can continue on at the university. And so he chose the university. And that sucks because as he says, he doesn't know if he's going to be able to pick up that momentum once he gets out or whatever. Then there's a couple of YouTubers that have gotten big lately who are athletes that said, "Yeah, I would have loved to be able to do YouTube during the time, but the college wasn't happening. Even if it had nothing to do with the school whatsoever. Once I got to that mind when I was getting money for it, even though it was a couple of pennies or whatever, and that sucks when you think about it. You talk to some of these athletes or whatever, and they're halfway starving. They have their
Right.
meal program and all that, but these are athletes. They eat way more than you and I eat sit down at the dinner table, and they're not the ones that really take it seriously too. So you got your practices or whatever. I know at the college I was going to go to, I was had to run every morning and every evening, and I did that in high school. So that's running twice a day, and I'm sure it'd have been a whole hell of a lot harder and more difficult and challenging. Then you have your university courses or whatever and all this stuff, and then you get your homework and you got all this stuff. Plus you have travel. You see some of these travel schedules for these college teams. It's insane. You think about when Southern California goes to play, I don't know, Maryland, that's all the way across the country. And then they still got to come back and do their studies and all that. And on top of that, they can't have part time jobs.
Yeah.
So they can try to have a part time job, but you just heard the schedule I put out there. So a way that they can actually make some money to be able to feed themselves and maybe take care of some whatever personal needs they need to take care of with the family, whatever, would be to be able to do some sort of branding. So I think it's okay. I think the NCAA has basically been called out. They said that they told California, state of California, if you pass this, the state of California would not be able to compete for any of the NCAA championships, football, basketball, hockey, gymnasts, whatever, none of that. And so California called their bluff, and now Pennsylvania's doing it. Florida's drafting us some stuff or whatever, and so the NCAA's have to change with the times. And I think it's about time. I was talking. My trainer is a former fullback for the NFL that played for like the Saints or whatever, and me and him were talking about that. He's like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "Man, it was rough. Everybody thinks it's all glam and yeah, it's all cool or whatever that you're popping on campus or whatever, but they really take full advantage of you, and God forbid you get hurt.
Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting system. I flirted with UNLV for a little bit when I was younger. I went down there as a walk on. I was a
Nice.
defensive back, but I was also a kicker. Because
Oh,
I'm from the
nice.
UK, I learned to kick a soccer ball, and it just naturally. And I played rugby professionally when I was young. I was on the Redditch Kingfishers back in the day, and then we emigrated to Canada, and of course, rugby's not big here, but football is. So I just kind of translated a little bit. So I did the
Nice.
walk on, and I knew I wouldn't make it as a defensive back. I mean, I was fast and I was good, but I wasn't amazing. But I knew I could kick, so I went there and I kicked, and I made the
Or
team. And what I got offered, and you got to think that this is back in like 1980, it'll be 88, 87 would be when this happened. But they offered me full scholarship, so full ride, all my school paid for. But the problem was food. Uh, and
got
being
it.
a foreign student, I wouldn't have been able to work anywhere, even in Las Vegas. I figured, oh, I'll go work at a casino. But because I wouldn't have a green card because I'd be there on a student visa, I wouldn't have been able to feed myself. But it's
Oh,
interesting,
wow.
though. I had a friend that made it, I can't remember the university, for volleyball, and they paid for everything. So I guess it depends
Nice.
on the school and depends on your level of talent. So it'll be interesting to see how they roll that out because what I'm kind of getting to is that universities seem to take care of people that they want to take care of because it's going to promote their brand.
They sure
You
do
know,
that. I mean, they're getting busted left and right now for paying these students, these student athletes, and they're paying them all this money to come to these universities, and they funneling all this money back to their families through these boosters or whatever. And you have all these major universities, well, actually big and small, all to cover all of the sports or whatever, are getting hit on this. So it's like this black market you guys created because you're not letting these athletes be able to basically just earn a living while they're there. How many students? I mean, hell, after I got out of the military or whatever, and with the GI Bill, I still worked and I went to school, and that was the only way I could be able to kind of have the quality of life that I wanted or whatever. So, you don't tell an art student like, hey, you can't go sell your art. You don't tell a graphic art student like, hey, you can't have a website doing your graphic arts work that you're learning while you're in school, or they can't use their portfolio from their marketing class or whatever as part of getting a part-time job or an internship. Yet you tell these athletes and that this is spending all their time and they have no time for anything else outside of that they can't make money on their talent, and while it's at its zenith, while it's at its peak, it doesn't make any
right.
sense.
I think they're afraid of social media is what it is. I think it comes down to, I mean, there's been a lot of college scandals over the year where things have happened. And I mean, this doesn't even involve, social media or anything that happens on camera. So any kind of scandal that hits the school. So I think that they're worried that giving athletes, sort of free reign increases the potential that they have some sort of college scandal, which is interesting because if you watched anything on Twitter this week, I don't know if you saw what happened at KCU for the basketball. They had
Oh, Snoop Dogg.
they had Snoop Dogg, and
That was
hey, he did
sponsored
a
by the
free
university.
concert there, and he broke out the strippers and the money gun and started shooting money everywhere, and had 4 stripper poles going, and there's a huge backlash because of it, because the university is now, kind of like, because people were upset, it's which
Snoop
which
Dogg.
is which is funny because when you hire Snoop Dogg to do your thing, like,
Right?
it's like maybe you should check out. I'm surprised they didn't complain about the smell of pot there, because last
Oh
time
man.
that I worked photographing Snoop Dogg, I tell you, the contact high was like something else. Between him and Afro Man, like, dude, there's so much weed going on in that place. It's absolutely amazing.
I'm with you. I've been living since I lived in the West Coast. I lived in San Diego, or in Southern California, between LA County, San Diego County, and Riverside County, or in Orange County. I lived down there for like 17 years, and so being in Snoop Dogg's backyard, basically, he was always doing like local festivals and things that may not even hit the plot or outside of Southern California. So I've gotten to see Snoop Dogg. I can't even countless amount of times, and I've got to be very close to him just because some of these venues are very small or whatever. And yeah, I don't know what they expected. I mean, every time I've seen Snoop, it's a wonderful show. Snoop was like the dude you like, man, I would hang out with you. You just seem cool as shit. And like you said, the wafting smell of the marijuana and everything, it is all over the place. And I've seen Afro Man a couple of times too. Again, being here in the West Coast, so I don't know what they expected. I don't know why they didn't check that out. And seeing the pictures of the crowd, oh, they seemed happy. They enjoyed themselves.
So Rob asks, it's kind of a loaded question. He's like, "How great is the NES?"
I know, right? It's pretty great.
He knows it's not my favorite system. He knows it. I think it was and I'll say it again, Rob, a substandard system as far as the systems of the time. Just because they had Mario doesn't make it good. But they do have great characters. Uh,
Hey JD, hold on one second. I'm currently getting in trouble right now. So my wife texted me, and she doesn't know that I'm live streaming with a gentleman from Canada right now.
That's
Because,
precious.
see, that's precious. So let's see. Husband, have you had any thoughts on dinner? Oh, I know I'm in trouble. I was going to stop at Kroger. Oh, but obviously, maybe whatever
We eat every day.
we eat every day, baby. Whatever you make, just don't beat me on national television.
I think the chat might disagree with that.
I know. Yeah, so that's supposed to be on my side. So, I will be in the doghouse now.
Rob asks, in your experience, what are the bare minimum scenes one should have for streaming? Main screen, gameplay, AFK, what else?
That's a good question. I think it actually depends on just the streamer themselves, like what they kind of want their situation, their channel, their show to look like. For me, I don't have. Basically, I have just the main skin. that's how I use. Now I thought about doing some transitions or whatever. And one of the things I did incorporate, so I'm a sponge. I sit there and I watch. I learn from JD. I learn from everybody. If I'm watching your stuff, I'm learning. Believe that. And so I noticed that some of the people had transitions. I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice. So I thought about doing a transition, whatever. And then I saw some people not using transitions. And I thought about my channel. I'm like, what is my channel about? Well, we game, we do unboxings, and we do movie reviews and TV reviews and random stuff. So I'm like, that's a perfect way to show off our videos that are pre-made content, basically our non-live stuff. And so basically for my be right back, my restroom and all that stuff, I use those videos. I have certain videos that like I clipped them and made like highlights for 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes. Sometimes I play the whole video if I know I'm gonna be gone for 3 or 5 minutes, and that's how long the video is. Also, I'm kind of retro, hence the pops, the Flash Gordon, and the arcade cabinets and stuff like that. So I also wanted to incorporate that. So I basically how to explain it. I grew up watching a bunch of '80s cartoons and a little '70s, but mostly '80s and some '90s stuff or whatever. So I also use that part of my Be Right Back. And so I feel that if you can be very creative. In other words, you don't have to be standard. Like some people say, hey, you have to have your main screen, you have to have your starting soon, you're in, and your Be Right Back or whatever. And it looks nice, but it's all unique. I mean, it's not all unique. You look at every one channel and there's like 50 other channels. So I say figure out a way of kind of making yours stand out, but at the same time make it true to whatever you're going to be. I use one skin, it works for me. Somebody else may use multiple, and it works for them.
So, would you recommend that people go the template route, or spend the time and do something that's like fully custom, full on custom?
I say I took the time and did a full on custom, but I kind of had a vision of what I wanted, and I had already talked to people and was in the process of making it happen. But I don't think that should stop anybody from getting on there. Originally, I had a template picked out that I was going to use, and it wasn't until I started basically asking Brumans questions and kind of telling them what my ideas were. They're like, "Oh yeah, we can kind of point you in the right direction, whatever." So the templates, they got some really good templates out there. They have the templates that well, the first of all, there's several websites you can get templates from, which is really cool. And it's great that OBS and the other streaming services alike to use those. Some of them have some built-in templates as well. So there's some very good templates, some very good graphics. Some of them let you mix and match them. So you can get on there. So basically, I wouldn't want somebody to look at like sometimes like my channel, Josh's channel, or anybody else's channel and be like, oh, I'm not saying my stuff is great. I'm saying Josh's stuff is great, but look at it and be like, I can't come out the box yet. No, all you need is something to stream live. And if it's just your face, get on there and then build yourself up and then get you the template and just keep going. And until you're able to get to that place where you're like, okay, now I'm going to go custom, whatever. So don't let it hold you back. I know I've heard people say like, oh, I saw so and so stuff. That's what kind of held me back. I'm like, just get on there and go. You should see some of our old YouTube stuff. I'll tell you when I was recording on whatever raggedy camera we had on there, and the graphics I was using was off of Windows, and that's what the software I was editing is there. I love those videos up; they're still there.
Yeah, I think I agree. It's best to just keep going, and you'll build yourself up along the way. Because in all honesty, it's camera presence. I think that is the biggest thing that people have to work on the whole time, anyways. And if that doesn't get better, not streaming or not,
Very true.
vlogging or whatever. Like, I mean, I think all of us, if we looked back on whatever it is, at the end of the day, I guarantee we're all looking, going, "Wow, like you've come a long way." Sometimes it's good to do that. Like, take a look, stop, turn around, take a look, and you realize how far you've actually progressed. So
True.
cool, cool.
Very true. Very true.
Josh says, let's get the dinner discussion going in chat. I'm about to have this combo after this stream. So, Woodrow, we're about an hour in. So, what are you having? What's going for dinner, man? Or do you know? Is there going to be an off-screen beating? Like, what's going on?
I have no idea what we're gonna have for dinner. I definitely dropped the ball on this, so I'm gonna air out a little of my dirty laundry. So one of the issues I have, which gets me in trouble, she doesn't mind me streaming. She only minds when I don't respond when she sends messages. So I used to basically, I'm that person that I'm like, I throw my phone over the corner. It's on silent, and I would never notice it. So I was like, married now, I can't do that. And so I keep the phone on me, but then I still have it on vibrate. So I'm like, okay, that doesn't work. And so basically, I have to leave it on where I can hear messages. And just, to respond back, just be like, hey, want something happened to me and you ain't paying attention. And, I'm like, okay. And so it's funny because we just had that conversation. And here it goes, that message. And she was being sweet and trying to say, what do you want for dinner? I'm at the store. I'm going to hook it up. And then my dumb butt don't pay attention to the phone. And I don't even know why. It's on vibrate. And it's because of where I went earlier. I couldn't have my phone basically making noise and I forgot to put it back. So that's on me. So hopefully dinner will be good, and hopefully I don't get too looked at too crazy. But I got a nice, strong black woman, Southern wife. So
Nice,
I
nice.
love it enough that I wouldn't change anything about her. And this is my fault because I should have put it back up there. So I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner, but I'll take a picture of it and let y'all know.
Yeah.
If you see an empty plate, then you know that's what I had.
Me, it's going to be an omelet because it's just me. So that's how that rolls. It's all I could cook. I think I mentioned that the other day too. So that's what it's going to be.
Amazing.
So if there's any last questions for Woodrow, by all means, throw it in the chat. Good to see you, Rocks and Socks. Thank you so much for tuning in. When you guys get those last questions in, I'm going to roll a commercial because we're not going to hold Woodrow up for too much longer because we've held him for an hour. And again, I appreciate it so much, buddy. You have no idea what this means to me. Thank you so much again for taking like this amount of time to spend with us, and I'm sure everybody in the chat appreciates it as well. So we've hit that insert ad. If you do happen to see an ad, that means that you've hit the algorithm right. If not, drop your last and final questions for Woodrow. You might want to drop your link in there again, Woodrow, just so I know you can type it in there yourself
Oh, sure.
for the channel where people can find you. That would be great. Again, anybody who's not getting an ad at this point, if you do want to be a guest on the Daily JD, all you need is Skype, a microphone, a video camera, and just shoot me a note. You can catch me at Paint Inc. on Twitter. You can shoot me a message there. It might be kind of a last minute thing because I know how the world is and all that kind of stuff, and it does take a little bit. As you notice, I'm sitting in a different thing. Bear the Destroyer is telling me that I've been streaming for too long and that she needs to get going outside. So, again, if you just want to let people know where they can find you, what you do, and all that kind of good stuff, Woodrow, and we will.
Sure. Yes. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Mom's Universe. Twitch, I'm going to drop that link in there. The same thing for Mom's Universe. If you also do a Google search, and something that's happened in the last couple of months, which I knew like, hey, we're finally growing. People know who we are. I used to put in Mom's Universe in Google, and nothing. We didn't pop up, and we are actually starting to pop up. So if you do Mom's Universe in Google, you will find us. If you put Mom's Universe without the dash, we will pop up as well. But Twitch and YouTube are basically where we do our live streaming. I do break rules and stream on multiple platforms at the same time. YouTube doesn't care, but Twitch sure does. But hopefully I'm a small streamer and they won't drop the hammer on my head. You can also find us on Facebook as well, but I suggest Twitch and YouTube. And if you want to see us live our pictures, matter of fact, Tiberius is working at this cool place in Georgia called Netherworld. It's the biggest haunted house in the United States as far as like a theme park goes. The thing is, it has Hollywood level production. Some of the props have been used in such shows as The Walking Dead, and which is also filmed in Georgia. Or if you're Walking Dead, whatever. And so they have these props and everything, and Tiberius gets to dress up from September to like November in the craziest outfits or whatever. And you can see those pictures on Instagram. And it's crazy. I'm trying to get him to do some videos. So he's asking him if is that okay? Because that's definitely something we'll put out there. But it is pretty interesting. Rocks and Socks, welcome to the stream. I've seen you in the stream before as well. Josh, you are the man. Definitely appreciate you. And that is a good good point by Josh. They point out that Streamlabs OBS has a bunch of overlays built in, and they are really good. And Rob, definitely cool having you and Craftsman here as well. This has been a lot of fun. I definitely thank you. I hope I haven't embarrassed myself enough, and that you'll definitely have me back. And with Mr. Flops, I forgot you either. And definitely come over to our, I guess, shameless plug time. Yeah, please come check us out. We just did a review, a spoiler-free review. We did it yesterday on without money, the movie I just saw. What's the movie is that?
The
We just saw
Joker.
Joker. Yes, so many movies I see, and we are planning to do a spoiler-filled review live of the movie Joker. So definitely check us out if you've seen it for tomorrow. Also going to do Jennifer Lopez's new movie Hustlers, and I'm going to try to go see Gemini Man. I had planned on trying to see it in the morning, but I might be in trouble. So I will see Gemini Man very soon and do a review on that as well. So yeah, definitely come check it out and hang out, and we'd love to see you. And you definitely see me in this chat, regardless if y'all come over or not, and in your chats as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Woodrow. Appreciate it so much. Thanks again for spending this time with me. And I think we are going to wrap it out. I don't see any more questions. So thanks again to Mum's Universe for dropping in. We appreciate it so much. And you have a great one. And hopefully you're not in too much trouble. So thanks again, guys. This is the Daily JD. Remember, smash that like button. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. And we're going to leave you with some Games of Thrones. Make sure, check out, go over, subscribe to Mum's Universe. And until next time, we'll see you every Tuesday and Thursday, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And in the future with hopefully some more guests. And until next time, see ya.